Welcome. Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together with everyone. Yeah, if everyone can just do the obvious and turn off your phones or put them on silent, that would be fantastic. We begin Satsang always with a question that comes in from our global family who join us online through the gift of the internet, one of the good sides of the internet. And then we'll open it up, as always, to any questions that any of you might have. There's a microphone right there, so if you have a question, don't be shy. Feel free to just come to the microphone, share your name, share where you're from, and share your question. It's your time. But I'll start with one of these and then we'll open it up. Can meditation be any task? And this is asked by Ricardo from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Can meditation be any task? I would flip it around and say any task can be meditation, meaning there's nothing that we do that you cannot do meditatively. And ultimately, that's the point. If you look at the lives of sages, saints, awakened ones, even the Buddha himself, what you find is that after their awakening, they don't stay in caves. They don't stay in solitude in the jungle. They always come back. And this is true spanning the last many, many thousands of years across all of our different religious traditions. Saints, sages, prophets, mystics, awakened beings. The awakening happens in a variety of ways. Some of them are born like it. Some of it have a particular awakening experience. But what you find is that they don't push away any aspect of life. They may make different choices about how they dedicate their time, what type of work they do, what their priorities are, but there's no pushing away of things. It's why, interestingly, at a lot, almost all, of the pure, silent meditation retreats around the world, in addition to your time on the mat meditating, what do you do with the rest of the time? Wash dishes, sweep the floors. Like day one, before you even go into your silence, before you have your first meditation class, it's like, this is your room, here's the schedule, and this is your seva. And it's washing dishes or scrubbing floors or cleaning toilets or whatever it may be. Because there is nothing that cannot be done meditatively and nothing that doesn't go with meditation. It's not, oh, you're going to be meditating for the next 10 days, therefore you should make sure that you are not cleaning toilets or scrubbing floors or washing dishes, right? The only things that are no-nos, right, are, no radios, no TVs, no phones, none of that kind of stuff. But, and for people I know who have done extended ones, some of the centers have 3-month silent periods. So you get given different work. You're mowing the lawn, all work can be done meditatively. And that's the point. It's not that the centers are, too poor to hire people to do it. It's actually an integral part of the program. You learn the meditation on the mat, and then you stand up and you carry it into your dishwashing or your floor sweeping or your toilet cleaning or your gardening. Here, of course, Pujya Swamiji has a slightly different view than a lot of the centers abroad. And his view has to do with employing people who have no other source of income, people who have no other skills, other than cleaning dishes or sweeping floors or scrubbing toilets, employing them so they end up with a place to live and school for their kids and medical care, and kind of giving the people who come in for seva that's more in line with skills they have. But the teaching is exactly the same. Whatever you're doing, are you washing dishes? Are you designing a website? Are you scrubbing floors? Are you stuffing envelopes? Whatever you're doing, it is all meant to be an extension of the meditation. So yes, any and every task can be done meditatively. And ultimately that's the point. When we speak about mindful living, conscious living, that's the teaching. It's not stop living. It's whatever you're doing. Do it mindfully. Do it meditatively. Do it consciously. Are you eating? Are you drinking? Are you driving? Are you data entering? Are you coding? Are you helping a child with their homework? Whatever, are you loving? Whatever you're doing, do not lose the meditation. Now, that being said, there is one caveat. Because the human mind is so intractable and so mischievous, and always so looking for excuses and rationalizations, no, your dishwashing does not take the place of your daily meditation. No, your data entering does not take the place of your meditation. Yes, it can and should be done meditatively. Yes, it can and should be an extension of your meditation. And no, you can't say, well, I wash dishes today, therefore I don't have to meditate. So yes, you need to create some time in which the only task at hand is meditation. And from that, you carry that into your other tasks. Yeah, great question. Other questions? Yes, come.
Thank you, Sadhviji, for the opportunity. My name is Saili Vaidya. I am currently working as a fertility yoga expert. I am from Mumbai, Maharashtra. So in the yesterday's satsang, you said, just spend time with the people, spend love, and in the whole day I started doing that. I'm implementing that. I'm used to give the smile to everyone, and it's really impacting my life positively. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Along with that, you yesterday also mentioned spend time with the people. So just 2 months back, 14 October, I lost my dad suddenly with the in the heart attack. And since that, I am always in the guilt that I have not spent enough time with him. Like I was always busy in my doing work. He always saying like, just give me 2 minutes. And that time I spent 2 minutes with him, but I shouldn't give him the last time, means lots of time, which didn't spend lots of time with him. So I just wanted to ask you how to come out of that guilt. And while discussing with my husband, he is also yoga teacher. So he conclude that it's my original nature to always being in guilt. That's the negative emotion. I always be in that.
Yeah, beautiful question. When our loved ones die, guilt, remorse, regret almost always accompanies the pain. Almost always. It's very, very rare that we don't feel, oh my God, I wish I had. Oh my God, I wish I hadn't. Sometimes it's very dramatic. You had a fight with them. You didn't have a chance to make up. Sometimes it's less dramatic. I should have spent more time. I should have listened more. I should have been nicer. I shouldn't have been in such a rush. So first of all, recognize that this is really natural. Recognize, first of all, that guilt in and of itself is toxic and serves no purpose. Give it to Ganga before you leave from here. Guilt will just eat you alive and achieve nothing. It's like a virus in your system. Slowly, 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 it's just going to infect everything. Never gets full. And just infects the system. So as you're here on the banks of Ganga, let yourself let go of the guilt. However, there are lessons. When death happens, aside from however they died, however old they were, whatever our guilt or non-guilt may be, one thing always happens with death. Even if we didn't know the person, but we hear the story. It always, for a period of time, is like a slap in our face that wakes us all up. Suddenly, little things aren't so important. You hear someone died. Close person? Absolutely. But even when it's not such a close person, someone you knew, an acquaintance, somebody at work, a fellow student, whatever it may be. Even just a newspaper article or something you see online. Almost automatically, the little things you were upset about, you're angry at this one, you're holding a grudge against that one, you're frustrated about this, almost always they are just wiped out. It's very hard to stay frustrated and annoyed about little things when someone has just died. Because it suddenly just slaps us awake with, oh my God, life is so precious, nothing is guaranteed, and we have a drive to just love our loved ones, use every minute, give love, care, spread love, spread peace. And in that way, every person's death is a gift. Every time someone dies, I take it, especially when it's young people. I take it as almost like they have martyred themselves for a cause. And the cause is to re-wake us back up. Because the dilemma is we remember and then we forget. We hold that remembrance. Maybe a few hours, maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, depending on how close they were to us. But slowly, we get caught back up again in the stupid little things of life. And then quite literally, we need someone else to die again. And then we remember. And so whenever a young person dies or someone dies in a really tragic, unexpected, awful way, in addition to my grief, I always find myself saying thank you. Like, I wish we didn't need this. I wish we didn't need your sacrifice. And yet, on some soul level, you made this sacrifice. You know, people will die, young people will die in car accidents. And it's like, okay, from now on, are you all, for God's sakes, going to remember to wear your seatbelt? Are you going to drive more slowly from now on? Like, how many lives does each one of those save? Because even temporarily, we remember, oh my God, yeah, my seatbelt. Oh my God, drive slowly. So, our pain comes with lessons. And in your case, the lesson is never be too busy again. Because your dad is no longer in his body, but at least that happened in the correct order of things. It's much better to lose our parents than for our parents to lose us. The correct order is children should lose their parents, not vice versa. And ideally at an advanced age. I mean, you're a full-grown adult. Again, it's sad. I wish I had a magic wand that could bring him back to life and give him another 10 years. But in the ultimate scheme of things, this was actually how it was supposed to happen. You were going to be able to get through your childhood, emerge into your adulthood, get married, and at some point we lose our parents. But take the lesson that you've gotten. Guilt, as I said, is just toxic. But allow that repentance or that regret that's a catalyst for change. Let that be there. Let the regret that you didn't make time for him when you felt like you should make time afterwards, let that be there. Because the same personality type, which is 99.9% of all of us, who can't make time for one, can't make time for the other. In general, we are all too busy. I know, even just on a personal level, I am constantly, and by constantly I mean many times a day, stopping myself. The moment my brain says, oh, I'm swamped, I'm overwhelmed, I'm this, and you stop. Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, there's a lot to do. Plates are full, okay. But remember, always remember the important stuff. Because at the end of our life, nobody ever says, oh my God, and I still have 5 things left on my to-do list. Those are never the regrets. The regrets are always about how I didn't show up in my fullness, in my most sincereness, in whatever area it may be. It can be our work, it can be our family, it can be our spiritual practice, it can be our seva, it can be anything. But all of the areas where we kind of were too busy to pay attention, too busy to give it our all, too busy to be focused and attentive and caring and sincere, that's the stuff that comes back and bites us. So let this be an important lesson for you. To make sure that you don't live in a rush. That you make time for what's important. And in your case, with a husband and kids, make time. And let your dad's passing be a catalyst for you. Whenever you think of him, instead of having the guilt, say thank you. Because through him, now you remember to give that time to your husband, to your children, to other things that are priorities in your life. Not just rushing around with the daily chores. I gotta grocery shop, I gotta clean the floor, I gotta do the dishes, sky never fell because the laundry wasn't folded. Sky never fell because you went to bed with dishes in the sink. Allow yourself to really, just remember as you move through your life, what am I making time for? Yeah, eventually you fold the laundry, eventually you do the dishes. But it doesn't always have to be in this exact moment. What does this moment want from me? What am I supposed to be attentive to in this moment? Present with in this moment? And let that be and you learned so many lessons from him in his life. Let that be the lesson of his passing, that legacy lesson. Yeah, but let the guilt go in Ganga. Yeah. Other questions? Yes, of course, please.
Namaste, my name is Kasturi. I want to know the purpose of life, like why should I stay alive? Means it feels like we are born, then we are going to school, college, job, and then one day we are dying, right? So why we have to go through all of this and not die today? Why we shall live?
How old are you?
32.
I'm sorry?
32.
Okay. You look much younger.
Thank you so much.
Were you in the Ganga Arati?
Yes.
As I said in the Arati, the purpose of our life is not that accumulation of stuff. You're right. We grow, we go to school, we get a degree, we get a job. What is it for? What's the point? What does that lead us to? It leads us to successful accumulation of stuff. Get one degree after another, get one title after another, get a bigger office, higher up in the building, buy a new car, buy some new things, have a bigger bank account. Your question is a very valid one. But the purpose of life has actually nothing to do with any of those things. That's just what we're doing to stay busy while we are simultaneously but separately working out the actual purpose of our life. And the actual purpose of our life is to recognize and realize who we really are, which is not the student, it's not the worker, whether you're the boss, whether you're a window washer, whether you're anywhere in between. It's still not the purpose. It's to realize that you, which is divine, which is eternal, which is infinite, which is full, which is whole. So a good way to begin getting there is to allow yourself to remember. The very first time that you can remember yourself saying I. Right? So go back. Everybody do this. Just close your eyes. And go back to the very first time that you remember either speaking the words or just having the awareness of I or me or mine. That you remember that experience of being a unique, separate being from the world around you. Or that you remember identifying something as belonging to you. Think about that moment. And now fast forward about 10 years. So you should be somewhere in your preteens or teenage life. And think about how you thought of me and I in those years. Who was I when you were that age? Fast forward into your 20s. Who was I in your 20s? What did it mean when you said I or me? Who was that? And then into your 30s, for those of you who are in 30s or older. And allow yourself to just keep going depending on how old you are. Just take a few moments, kind of decade by decade. Find any point, it doesn't matter, any moment in that decade that you remember a distinct feeling of I, me, mine. Now you'll notice that the I of you at 2 or at 3, whenever that memory is there, and of you in your teenage years, in your 20s and your 30s, all the way up to however old you are now, the situations have changed. The circumstances have changed. The way of identifying has changed. What you understood as I at 2 is very different from what you understand as I today. And yet, take a moment and just allow yourself to really notice that there is an unbroken thread all the way from that first moment to today. Feel that unbroken thread. Like beads on the string of a mala. All of the years of your life are a bead. But that string is that awareness of I that began when you were a toddler and is still there today. What is that? Just notice it. Gently open your eyes. Do you begin to catch a glimpse of that you who's not the student or the worker? Not you in the relationship. It's a consistency. Begin with that practice of meditation. Just keep doing it until you have a really clear experience. May happen the first time, may take you 10 times. But keep doing it till you have a really clear experience of, oh yeah, oh my God. There's this unbroken thread of I. All those identifications keep changing. Body's changing. Circumstances change, what I do changes. But I keep saying I. Knowing that I, which even was there before you had the vocabulary for it. So it's not that it arrived at 2 or 3 years old. It's just that was when your cognitive capacity, when your brain got developed enough to recognize it. Knowing that, which isn't your body and it isn't your circumstances and it isn't what you're doing, that is why you're here. Is recognizing that, because the moment that you start to dive into that, what you realize is it isn't separate from the divine. You call it I, me, mine, but the deeper you go into it, you realize it actually isn't separate from anything. in my mind, or the desires, or the anger, or the fear, or the resentments, or any of it. It's the play, it's ripples on the surface of an ocean. And I am water. So start doing that and you'll come to know. That's what you've been born for, is to have that awareness. Yes. Beautiful. Yes. Yeah, last question. Yes, come.
Hari Om, Sadhviji.
He's just going to raise up the mic. You're taller than she was. One moment.
Sadhviji, I am myself Dev. I am from Delhi. I have one question. What is oneness and how to be in
What is?
oneness and how to be in oneness in life?
Have you ever been in love? And I don't mean romantic love. No, my point is, that also counts, but it doesn't only mean romantic love. It could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your brother or a sister or a child or a best friend. But have you ever had a very, very deep experience of love?
Yes, with my kids.
Okay, wonderful. So I want you to describe to me the feeling of holding your child when they were just born. In your arms, what did it feel like?
In Ganga Aarti. So
No, I don't. Not the description. I don't want the background. What is your felt sense experience of holding your child when they were just born?
Stability or peace. I don't know how to say, but quiet.
Quiet, peace.
When I hold my kid, I don't feel anything. Just there, be, nothing else, no thought, nothing. Just be at the moment.
Father, he was son.
No.
So what did you feel?
As I said, nothing, just
But
be at the moment.
Bear with me here. You didn't feel a role. You didn't feel like I am father, he is son.
No.
So as you held him, if the experience was quiet and peace, beautiful, but the experience with this little boy in your arms, it wasn't an experience of roles. What was the experience of this being in your arms?
Can't explain. Cannot explain the experience.
I imagine that it was an experience of oneness. Did you feel like one with him?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's the experience we're going for. But not just with a beautiful child who has come out of our womb or out of the womb of our spouse. But here's why I chose when he was a newborn specifically. Because there's something about a newborn. I mean, all children are divine, of course, and all parents love their children as divine. But when they are a newborn, there is something that is very surreal and celestial and cosmic about it, right? Like he's just kind of out of nowhere. I mean, you know, your wife knows how that all happened, but from the outside, it looks like just out of nowhere, sort of this being has just emerged. And that experience of oneness is an experience not with this being. I mean, there's not even a personality yet. In most cases, there's not even a name yet. He hasn't developed any virtues or characteristics yet. I mean, there's nothing about him to love. So what do you love about him? Nothing. He has never said a word. He's never done a thing. He has no qualities that are lovable. What you love about him is he's a doorway to the divine. Through holding this brand new child, it's a doorway, it's a portal into creation itself, into the divine itself, into an experience of, oh my God, there is much bigger, deeper, more than just these little roles, right? The dilemma happens, it wears off quite quickly.
Yes.
Then we start having expectations, and why did you fail your math test, and why is your room such a mess, and you're late coming home from a date, and suddenly it's no longer a portal. But it's always really powerful and important, you can remember that. Because for many people, that was kind of the closest that without a spiritual experience that most people who have children have felt to the divine, is looking in the eyes of a newborn baby. Like my newborn baby looking in the eyes gives a lot of people that experience. Now, that experience of oneness is just like you were moving through the world, but in everyone's face, you were having the experience that you had with your newborn son. Seeing everyone as a portal through which, a window through which, you can see and experience the divine. Typically when we see people, we're all about their characteristics. What do they look like? What do they do? What do they say? What are their virtues? What's their personality? But can you see them the same way that you saw your newborn son? No personality, no virtues, no actions, no personality, no... larger portal into the divine.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Have a beautiful rest of your evenings, everyone. And I look so forward to being together tomorrow. And so much love always.